leasing some space in Hackensack, New Jersey.
Okay. Are you a client or are you a business owner?
I'm a business owner.
Got it.
Do I speak so
kind of
clearly and unabashedly that you figure that I must be some kind of a professional realtor? Because I get that a lot. I know, usually tenants are just bumbling fucking morons, Kyle. This is 500 South River Street in Hackensack, New Jersey. I am interested in leasing it if you're the right guy to talk to about said lease.
Yes, I am the guy. You have a space in mind in particular at the center?
Yeah, the laundromat, that's what I do. I do coin laundries. There is an existing laundry there, and my MO is fairly simple. I'm always scouting in the entire tri-state area, really. We look for underperforming coin laundromats. We reach out to the landlord or their rep, i.e. Kyle, and try to discuss lease terms. If this is a good tenant for you and they are fabulous and they pay the rent on time, we probably don't have much to discuss. But this isn't a sales call or a farming call. We've physically been in this store and it's a bit of a train wreck. It's not the worst laundromat I've been in by far, but it's not good. I mean, their Christmas decorations are still up. That's adorable. But it's broken equipment, it's poor procedures, all that. And why am I interested? Because someone spent $300 or $400 grand on infrastructure to build this place. And when this works well, Kyle says, oh, geez, you know, they're a terrible tenant, without getting into your rent rolls or anything specific. If it's time for a lease or they're month to month, maybe we talk terms and try to beat you up on the rent. And then I spend the money on equipment. I don't spend it on buying someone's failure or, God forbid, building a laundromat from scratch, if any of that makes any sense.
Yeah, it does. Realistically, like, we're currently dealing with a bit of an operator problem here. This guy, I think, as of, call it 6 months ago, he had 3 locations. And he was evicted from one. And we received an eviction judgment with him as well. He did pay up, and we're letting him back in.
Okay.
However, we have a 60-day termination right on his lease. So we have full control of leasing it to another tenant without you having to step in and transact with him.
Yeah, well, that's good because I would never do that anyway.
Yeah. So how many laundromats do you own or operate?
36.
Wow.
That's the right answer.
All in the tri-state or
yes.
Nationally?
Yes. There's no national chain that works in laundromats. It's just not something that it's a cash business, number one. I mean, I could go on ad nauseum. Let's back up. Let me guess.
One thing I would actually love to hear, because I think personally it's an interesting business to own. I truly would like to hear.
Well, what I was going to say is it goes back to you, Kyle. You're the demographic of one, right? Let me guess. You do not do your laundry in a laundromat.
I do not.
There you go. It's the oddest dichotomy. This business, this industry is full of people that think that they can own and operate laundromats even though they don't even use them on a daily, weekly, monthly basis. Now, am I saying you need to know how to cook a perfect medium rare steak in order to be a steakhouse owner? I really am. But that's a different thing. I can have 100 stores with chefs that are full-time and everybody knows what they're supposed to do. And as long as the fry basket is down and there's a timer there, you can make friends. I digress. This business is goofy. because there's so many laundromats that change hands over and over and over again. I told you this isn't even a horrible store, but that's not going to stop me from calling you and finding out whether or not we can talk terms. And it sounds like we can. And here you are fascinated. You sound like a young man. I'm not that young, but I'm not here to help you get into laundry businesses because I don't need any more competition, A. And B, I'd like to see you help me to simply build more and more stores. And this is how I do it. You have specific questions on how laundries work, I'll happily answer it for you. But this guy isn't, sadly, I don't take operators and throw them out the front plate glass window of their laundromats. They do that themselves. They ruin their chances. And it goes way back to the beginning where this operator, even though he has 3 stores and he's lost 1 out of 3 and is about to lose this one, he doesn't know what he's doing. That's all. Doesn't know what he's doing.
Yeah. Yeah, I would agree with that sentiment.
Well, we both know
that. But the matter at hand is we need to find a tenant here.
Yeah.
My day job is to lease space within our shopping centers.
Of course.
From Virginia to New England. So
good. Well, we might work together. I'm surprised that we don't have each other's numbers now. We do. Let me be specific. Without asking about your rent rolls, because that's none of my business, and I have to be cautious. I'm not here to ask about your tenant. Don't know him, her, they, them. Don't know their name. It's not that I don't care. They're fellow human beings. But when can we can write you a letter of intent contingent on the exit of this tenant, even though they are there, even though the lights are on and they're paying the bills. When that sad occurrence goes down and they have vacated, we will step in and you won't have to list the place. Then here's the crusher. I'm going to spend a couple of $100 per square foot on new equipment, just that thing. But I won't have to buy the business or build it from scratch. So that's my plan. Laundromats are 99% equipment. I'm exaggerating, but all the other things, the coat drives in the winter that we do for the public, the barbecues in the summer, that brings people in. You have to advertise. They don't do any of it. If you try to Google this place, they're probably not even listed. They probably don't even have a working phone number. I can't help myself because you're intrigued by the business itself, but it's the haves and the have-nots, the people that know how to run them and the folks that don't. It's not difficult. It's not rocket surgery, but it also goes back to whether or not you bought it. This guy probably bought 3 laundromats and now the zero-sum game is out the window. He's losing because he can never pay back that debt service. I'm not buying this place, so I'm already ahead of the game. I hope that makes sense.
It does. It makes perfect sense. He bought this business about 18 months ago.
Oh,
we facilitated the assignment. And
all right.
Another situation.
Now I'm excited. He bought it
right now.
He bought it 18 months ago, and I don't want to hear who the guy is or even first names because it hurts my feelings. But he bought it 18 months ago for how much?
I can tell you. It's going to take me a second to find the PSA.
And then he took over the remaining lease.
Yeah.
Again, don't you see what a problem that is? The guy's going to fail. He's setting himself up for failure.
Yeah. We didn't get a ton. Honestly, I don't recall the exact backstory of all of it, but I did do that assignment. I think we extended him we extended the lease when he bought it. Yeah, we definitely extended the lease. I think we extended it 5 years.
Yeah. Well, look,
it did 26.
Again, I'm just being selfish by asking these questions, but at the end of the day, I don't really need to know. What you need to know is that the group you have on the phone, my partner and I, this isn't a big company, are looking to sign a lease, retool it, and start at that zero sum so that we don't end up in the meat grinder like a lot of these operators do. It's sad. I can tell you some stories. And whatever he paid, how do con men work, right? There's got to be a greedy mark. And the people that buy these laundromats, it's sad, but they think, I'm just going to pick up money off the streets. I'm just going to really end up taking advantage of poor people that can't afford a washer or dryer. That's not what this business is. It's lifting up those people and giving them a great service facility where they can come in and do their laundry. They don't want to be there. I'm in my stores all the time. I hear people on the cell phone. You never hear them answer the phone. Hi, what are you doing? I'm in the laundromat. They say, I'm running some errands. It's kind of funny. It's not a glamorous thing. But we do it right. We run them properly. Here's my question. It sounds like this thing is about to go down. So what is the square footage and what can you do for me on a long-term lease? And I probably am going to be undercutting what this guy is paying because of my debt service.
So this guy bought the business for $100,000.
Right.
And that was June 21st of 2022. So it was not quite 2 years ago.
Yeah. Well, good for him. You know what, Kyle? I'll bet it was for sale on Buy Biz Broker for $300,000. And so when he spent $100,000, he thought, "Oh my God, look at the deal I made." And the truth is, the one argument I would have if I was a broker, you can't build it for that, and it's true. You can't build the laundry for that. Yeah. But what you can do is what I'm doing right now is dial for dollars, walk into these stores, physically scout them. And when you see them in this kind of condition, call up. And really, it's just old equipment. This guy's trying. It's sad. I mean, everything down to the color of the walls are painted. They painted it, and they usually redo the floor tile when they sell it. And you walk in there, and again, this guy doesn't know what he's doing. I have 3 laundries. They're all failing. But forget about that. What do you want to lease it to a good operator for?
So realistically, we'd be looking to replace the rent. I don't think going too far backwards is what we're looking to do.
I don't blame you.
I think he does. I think he does about $500,000 in sales right now, and he's paying $40 a foot.
Oh my God! First, I'm confused. How are you telling me what his sales look like? We're talking about the laundromat?
Yeah, his gross sales are, I believe, roughly $500,000.
Yeah, but why would you even know that as the landlord's rep?
I am an employee of the landlord. I'm not a broker, but we get sales information in all of our small shop leases.
Okay. So, first and foremost, laundries are cash businesses. I myself deposit every single penny because at the eventual point when you sell an empire, you don't want to nickel and dime the sale. That being said, I don't believe for a minute that he's doing $500,000 yearly in gross sales and can't pay you the rent. But the truth is, he can't pay you the rent. The reason behind not paying the rent is the everything. The being $100,000 in debt on day one doesn't help, but that's with broken, old, nasty equipment. You ever Uber anywhere? Mm-hmm. You use an Uber? You ever take a cab? Of course you do. You get into a 20-year-old car and you're pissed. You're like, oh, you don't own the car, but you're not happy about the ride. You can't wait to get out. It stinks. It's nasty. It's got a little wobble because of the right rear tire. This guy is basically short-term leasing equipment to folks that is old, broken, nasty, and they have to put their personal skivvies in there. So that's, again, I can't help myself. You're interested in the business. You could probably tell me where there's a good steakhouse or a great pizzeria, but at the end of the day, this is not a business we know anything about. I need to be at maybe $20 all in, half of what this guy's paying. But don't forget, Kyle, he's not paying it. He had this Jack and the Beanstalk, the magic fucking beans, and none of it was real. So if you want a good operator, you have choices. You can go back on the Monday meeting and tell the powers that be, hey, Maybe a laundromat is not the best fit for us in this center. The store goes away, and I don't have any vested interest in it going away. I want this store, but I'm not in love with it.
Yeah, at $20 a foot, I don't think there's anything real for us to do. I think it just turns into the fact that we're probably going to go a different direction than replacing it with another laundromat.
Yeah, and I hate to be the guy that ends up being the nail in the coffin for this particular location, but 40, what's the square footage? I asked two questions. I didn't get the answer to the first one. How big is it?
It's 3,000 square feet.
Okay. So at $40, wherever your triple nets are, your common area maintenance, what's this guy's monthly nut on rent?
It is, it's about 13 grand.
$13,000. That's not pesos, right?
American dollars.
And that's fine, dude. You know, you're looking for Neiman Marcus money for a bodega. It's with a cat in the corner, you know, it just doesn't work. And here's what I want to do. It's your business when, if, whether or not this guy gets tossed. But right now, I can't make an offer of anything less than $40 because you are collecting that, or you're about to not be collecting that. And I also don't want this laundromat to go away because I'm selfish and my partner Calvin and I want the store. But all that being said, I'll email you. Let's put a pin in this particular deal. And this is my cell phone number. Am I reaching you on yours?
I think you probably called off the sign at the center, right?
Okay. We'll exchange cellular phone numbers. And when something goes down here, I want you to come back, revisit this conversation with me, and give me the opportunity to do something. And it may never happen, but I hope it does. I'm telling you what is realistic for an operator. And you know, we're going to be a far better operator because A, we don't have the 100,000 out of pocket. The guy bought a failed business. How do I know? Because no one sells a successful business. You know that. And this is this sad little thorn in your side that's in a nice little center. But we're not done. We can't really have that important conversation until he's gone. He's not going to decide that this place is worth $13,000 a month. That's part of the death knell of these places. And maybe you lower your sights a little bit and say, you know what? If we have a good fit, if there's a 24-hour liquor store next to one of my laundries, then they love having a laundromat there. It's a good fit. We also become the police of the center. We make sure that no one is in there, the knuckleheads, I call them. We take care of that. We sign rights to trespass with the PD. We take care of it, like any good operator would. I see red when someone's fucking around in my stores. Can't have it. Good. What's your cell phone number? Perfect.
And are you 626?
And I have your, yeah, that's my cell. I have your email here. All right, perfect. I'm going to send you a little how do you do. I'm glad to make your acquaintance. And here's the bigger news. You sound like a man about town. You come across a laundromat that is failing with infrastructure, please don't send me flyers on space you think would make a good laundromat because I don't want to build them. I don't want to pay the EPA fees alone. And maybe we'll do business 3-4 times a year. I'm happy to build that many stores. Good. Let me send you an email. When this guy falls apart completely, give me a call.
Well, just before you go, a couple different things.
Yes.
One, this guy he's going. He's not staying.
I get that impression.
I have this space on all of our marketing materials as available for lease, and I'm looking for a tenant. So we have full control, unconditional termination rights with 60 days notice. Mm-hmm. It's just a matter of when we sign
with a new tenant,
Got it.
we provide him 60 days notice, and he's got to get out. So it's not if, it's when.
Yeah.
In addition to that, we own 75 shopping centers across the country. Some of them have laundromats. Typically, it's like, as an organization, it's not an operation that we generally look for. I personally think it's an interesting business. I think one day I'd like to do what you do and buy them and own and operate them. So I'm curious about it, as an individual. But that being said, I've got 18 of our centers from Miami through New England. And if I have anything that may make sense, I'll absolutely send it to you if there's an opportunity for you to step in.
Good.
We're also raising funds. We're a private equity format. We will be buying more centers throughout the country in the Northeast. So if there's ever an opportunity.
Yeah, I got that impression. I got that impression with you. Listen, at the end of the day, you might have 100 centers and maybe one coin laundromat. And I want to say this to you for the cheap seats. The lease rate in a laundromat has to be different. It just is. So let's say there's a center and there's a laundromat, there's a pizzeria, and there's a dry cleaner. I'm just going to ask, we've already established you don't go to the laundromat ever. You'll never even notice it. Do you use a dry cleaner?
I do.
Okay. So you're a customer for the dry cleaner. You're not a customer for the laundromat. And I'm not saying they're affiliated. They're totally separate businesses because they are. And then there's the pizza shop, which you're red-blooded American. I hope you eat pizza. So you're a customer and a consumer for 2 out of 3 of those businesses. But you, as a demographic of one, would never step foot in the laundromat, probably wouldn't notice it, wouldn't even give a shit that it was there. That's why the lease rate is different, because the people that frequent the laundromats, although they might eat pizza, they don't go to dry cleaners. They use a laundromat. And I'm not saying they're impoverished folks. I'm just saying that it's different. And that demographic and the fact that I retool my stores every 7 years and have that massive debt service, it brings that rate down. So if this place stays a laundry, I can send you an LOI, and that LOI can be contingent on the exit of this tenant. I hear you screaming, he's got to go. I get it. But part of the fact is that he can't pay the rent because it's too damn high. I hope that makes sense.
What is your target occupancy rate or health ratio for a laundromat? Like what would make more sense?
I've got $12 a square foot all in New Jersey. Okay. I've got $20 all in the city. But again, these are landlords that understand, okay, this is a good defined use for our center on Long Island. This is a good defined use for the area under the LIE. It just depends. And they have to be beat down over the years by underperforming shit tenants. And then they say, you know what? These folks know what they are doing. When they come in, we're going to actually collect the rent. And instead of going through 10 years or more of failure after failure, if you go online and you're so excited about this conversation and you start looking up laundries, you'll find that laundromats they have a 95% success rate, okay? That's a clever lie. That's not true. But you know who touts it? The Coin Laundry Association. Wow. Well, how could they say it if it's not true? You know why, brother? Because if this store in Hackensack, New Jersey closes down tomorrow and we take over the lease, it'll stay open. That means it's got a 95% success rate, right? But the truth is, it's changed hands 3 times in the last 2 years. Your original operator, the one that sold it for $100,000, and me. So to me, that's at least 2 failures. The guy that sold it, he didn't fail, right? Because he sold it. He was able to run away with $100K. Well, you know the answer to this, and so do I. He was failing. That's why he fucking sold it. What was that? Yeah, exactly. It's nuts.
Full transparency. I've got a partner. We're looking at buying laundromats. one of the first things he said to me was that laundromats have a 95% success
Oh
rate.
God, here
In my
we
head,
go.
I said, listen, man, I am a landlord. I know that that's not necessarily true. So,
But it goes
I'm
back to
30
what
years
I
old.
already said in this conversation. Greed
We're
is a
looking-
requirement
Oh.
for any anyone's going to con you. There has to be a mark and there has to be greed involved. Or 95%. It's just not a real thing.
Mhm.
Now, if that laundromat on that street corner has survived since 1950 and really never closed the doors, anyone driving by at 100 miles an hour can say, oh, that's 95% success rate. But it's not real. Now, those of us who are successful know it costs a shit ton of money to put the equipment in, but not. And I'm giving you, I mean, if you want to run laundries, why don't you run this one? You're telling, but you don't own this building. You work in some capacity for the landlord.
I work for a private equity real estate owner. Like, I'm an employee. Like,
Got it.
I'm never going to be a tenant in one of the centers that I work on.
Well, look, pick up the ball and run with it and go tell them that you want to lease it and end up in the same boat in 8 months. It also, then you need equipment. Which equipment? That's your question. Which is the best equipment? That's your question. How much does the equipment cost? How much should you be spending? How do you finance it? You know, all of that stuff is deep baseball shit for laundromats and laundromats only. There's plenty of dentists that go to dental school and they spend 8 years and they have student debt and they never really make it. Then there's a guy that doesn't even go to dental school who owns 157 dentist's offices, right? I know the guy. He's doing it right.
Oh, guys like that.
Yeah. Because he says, oh, shit, I went and had my teeth cleaned and the dentist was ready to kill himself and he smelled like cigarettes and dope. So why? And they look deeper and they say, well, here's why. And then they say, I'm going to take that down. You know, it's a formula. That's basically all it is. I got shit to do, man. I'm going to send you an email. You want an LOI from me, you're going to have to ask and you're going to have to lower the rate, but you're going to get the rent for the next 20 years. That's the point.
Yeah.
It's going to cost them
In all reality,
it's going to cost them $80,000 to turn this into a shell anyway.
Yeah. In all reality, I don't want you to waste your time. I don't think we're ever going to do it $20 a year.
Yeah. All right.
I think it's going to turn into different business. So listen, if that opportunity exists, I'll give you a call.
Good.
But I wouldn't count being a laundromat at $20 a foot.
Good.
So,
Kyle, I appreciate you, dude. Save
where
my
are you-
number.
Are you in Jersey?
Yes. You can't run stores outside
Would you let me
the
buy?
state. Oh, God.
Would
no.
you let me buy you a couple?
No, I don't want
Pick your
coffee.
brain.
I know. Go look up laundromats online. You might find some information.
Okay.
Thanks, Kyle.
All right. Take care.
He's so despondent. He's probably going to go find that this is live. And for the cheap seats, I reach out to that guy and I'll tell him about the live and get permission. You've heard me say this before, Calvin. I know what I'm thinking. What are you thinking?
Doesn't sound like this place is going to be a go. But
All the client ever gives a shit about is how the conversation goes back to you getting the laundromat for free. And you know what's crazy? What I heard was nothing but despondence and disparity, and the fact that we have someone who bought a laundromat 18 months ago and has lost their investment. It now is in back arrears on the rent, and we've got a real estate company that's actively seeking a new tenant. That is horrible. That's supposed to make me happy, right? I'm supposed to love that. I'm supposed to love these stories because I'm the free laundromat guy. No, I hate it. The smell of death in the air when you go into that laundry, it's horrible. It's disgusting. And you notice my spiel with this guy was not, this place is a total, utter armpit, because now looking at it, it makes sense that it was recently sold because the paint is sharp and new, isn't it? It is.
I think you're looking at the older photos because I don't really,
Well,
I couldn't really tell.
Yeah, you're not supposed to give me, quote, older photos from Google. Have you been in the store?
I can only take it from the outside. If you scroll down a little more, you'll see like pictures from the window.
This place is still operating, isn't it?
No.
Oh, well, shows what I know. When you do take photos through the window, you need to go all the way up to the glass and smash your phone against the glass. Even better sometimes at night to bring a flashlight and take those pictures through the glass. I see a really good picture, that last picture. So bottom line is this. Here we have an agent, nice guy, wants to pick my brain, wants to buy me a cup of coffee. Now, everybody listening to this is like, shit, I'd like to buy. I get emails from people that live in the state of Arizona and they want to meet with me and have a, it's adorable.
All right.
I worked very hard for a couple of decades to put information out there, not only on YouTube, but within my silly course so that you guys can get everything that you need. Adding to it, making sure that if I get a tidbit of information about something that has changed in this industry, you're going to know it from me as it relates to what we do. This very call, this very discussion is, again, another individual that went out and got hurt by the purchase of a laundromat. It's sad. Now, the flip side of that is this is a phenomenal business as long as you do what Calvin is doing. You heard him say, oh, I wouldn't even bother with an LOI. $20 all in, it's a reasonable rate of rent. This guy's paying $13,000 a month because he bought the business. Kyle just texted me all his information. He's excited. He bought the business, 100 grand gone. And then he signed to take over the remaining existing lease, which was what? The topped out end of that lease. You can't make this shit up. Now, I could sit and tell someone, right? I could be one of the brand new laundromat gurus who goes on and says 95% of laundromats never fail and they're perfect business. Let me teach you how to buy them. Or I could be me, showing you actual conversations of actual agents in the field and you scouting the stores. This is the way that this works. Maybe this one doesn't work for you. So what? I appreciate your note taking because sometimes I'm busy juggling over here. Luckily, we have one more chance for glory here.
What should I do with this New Jersey?
I'm going to email our friend, our newfound friend, and I'm going to CC you, and you should do nothing. Keep a close physical eye on that storefront. If anything changes, let me know. It sounds like that conversation likely was the nail in the coffin for this laundry location. Okay?
Yeah.
What if someone calls up and speaks to Kyle and says, you know what? We're going to give you the $40 a square. What is Kyle going to think?
It's too much.
He's going to realize I probably shouldn't accept that because I'm beholden to the ownership group. I'm beholden to the landlords. And I just spoke to someone who knows well enough to understand that $13,000 a month, although survivable, is not going to make this a viable business.
Yeah.
Sad but true. The next one is a store that we have left messages for, and they do not bother to return calls. So that means that this number will exist in my phone and it will link back to you, and we are going to dial it yet again and hope that we get a human person. Here we go. Stand by.
Yep.
Now's where you guys subscribe.
Thank you for calling Borough Rentals. Please listen. For Greenpoint,
Yes, Danny D'Angelo. I have left a message in the past. I'm interested in leasing some space here in Brooklyn. Give me a call. My wireless. To be clear, I'm not a broker or an agent. My partner and I are looking for retail. Thank you. Beautiful. You know the score. I'll CC you in the email to our friend Kyle. Keep looking. Put some more stores in front of me. Good job on that number.
All right.
Later.
Thank you.
Now on to you. What a phenomenal moment in history and time, right? I want to talk first to my existing clients who are working with me, who have deemed it necessary to hire me to call landlords. Look, this is a slog. If you give me the wrong phone number because you don't vet it, I'm not a skip tracer. I'm not going to help you find the landlord and his number or his real estate agent or his Kyle. Okay? This is just some housekeeping, guys. If you give me a number and we dial it and it says, you've reached 555-1214, beep. I leave a message. Next week, I leave a message. Week after that, I've called this number and you never vetted the number or even bothered to call it. Or like a client today, we call the number you've reached has been disconnected. Boop, boop, beep. Waste of energy. What I want, what you want, are good vetted contact numbers for realtors or landlords. That's all. This ends the public service announcement. When you're out there scouting and you're 98% sure that this is the right contact number for the right individual, make it 100 so we can do work. And sometimes there's a number on the glass in a suite right next door to the laundry, and that's simple. Call for lease info. Google the number. What is it? All this stuff is in the course. But of late, I'm getting more and more clients more and more frustrated about how the numbers aren't correct. Well, that's not on me. Vet the numbers. I know I say don't speak to them, but you can call the number and *69 your number. You don't have to say, I want the laundromat. Just make sure someone answers. Let's hit your queries there, kids. I'd like to hear from you now that are watching this, some individual thoughts on the purchase of a laundromat, where the rest of the world, for obvious reasons, is saying, let me teach you how to buy a laundromat. Take the time to write a couple of sentences on it. John says, hi, Danny and everyone. Hello, John. Regina says, hello, hello, hello. Hi, Regina. Hi, Danny. Oh, my God. We're all talking amongst ourselves. Hi, John. Hello. Hi. 100,000 down the crapper, says Wade. Yes, sir. No shit, says John. Correct. Not only 100 grand, guys. The fear is, what if I buy a laundromat and then I can't pay the rent? Well, if you buy one, you probably won't be able to. And now this poor sap owes back rent. They won't come after him. they don't, even big outfits like this, they don't come after you. It's blood from a stone. Look it up. What's up, Danny? Purchased your course and took notes for a scouting form to use for every potential laundromat that would be a good fit. It's Mo, by the way. Was in your last live a couple days ago. Thanks, Mohammed. Thank you. Appreciate it. I don't know that you need a form. If you're going to hire me, let's get on the telephone, let's do a consultation, and then you can put those things in the document. This dude says it should be $10,000 a month. No, it shouldn't. No, it should not. Your debt service on new equipment coupled with your lease is what you need to spend out of pocket. And then people come in and put quarters in the machines, dollars in the machines, and you pay the gas, water, and electric out of that, and you keep the rest. If the rest is zero because your rent is 13 grand a month, where are you? Calvin and others might be excited about making a deal in this spot, but we aren't. I'm here to pull the reins. It ain't a deal. That's my comment. He wants us. Max says, masterful conversation, Danny. You let him run and then reeled him in beautifully. Yeah, I never used to understand when my dad, we went fishing like once. Let him run. Why? Just reel the fucker in. Got to tire him out. Got to make them think they know what they're doing, them fish. Greetings, Danny. Am I on time? No, Juan, you're late. Williford Brothers just had a new video drop. Oh, exciting. That's what I'm going to do for the rest of the day. Hit the thumbs up like button. Someone says, yes, that's always a good idea. This is True Wisdom, brother, says Simeon Tribe. Yes, thank you. Just real stuff. Mr. Rosenthal. I use an app called Track GPS while I'm scouting to make sure I've covered all areas. I like that. Good. Danny's offering $20 a square foot, 3,000 square feet. That's $5,000 a month. And that might seem like a lot of money to you guys. Could you afford $5,000 a month for apartment rent? Well, depends on where you are. Depends on your lifestyle. Depends on how big the place is. Depends on a lot of things. But whether or not we're going to earn an income in this store doesn't depend on anything. We know that all of the factors are set. The only X factor is how low you can get them. And this deal isn't done. This deal could still happen. If you're joining late or you're watching this evergreen video on YouTube and you've fast forwarded to this end portion, go back and listen to this call. It was great. What's up, Danny? Do you ever offer to buy some of the equipment if it's new? No. The equipment is new. The laundromat operator has failed. That equipment belongs to the distributor/manufacturer. And the money that's owed on the equipment is probably twice or thrice what it's worth because they charge everyone too much for it. Again, part of the reason they fail. So why would I offer anyone money? The most that my clients would ever do is tell them, take it out, get rid of it, or we'll give you 5 cents on the dollar. Because when they pull it, they can't really sell it because nobody wants used equipment, only if it's barely used. You're telling me about a new store with new equipment that failed. Why did they fail? Because everything was too much. Our friend Trevor says, I found you last May and purchased your course. Everyone should purchase Danny's course if you're not doing any kind of business. Danny's an expert in his field, and the numbers are the numbers. It's funny to me of late, recently, that guys and gals are jumping in here and saying, get the course, because it seems like I've got a room full of minions that are saying the same thing. And I can watch the numbers of the concurrent viewers, and whenever somebody mentions a course at all, the numbers drop almost by half. Interesting, isn't it? Because they think that you're lying, and they think that I'm here to sell something. Watch this video. I get emails almost every day that warm my cockles because they say, My wife and I were buying a laundromat. We were this far along. We had the check ready to go out the door for the money that we've saved our entire adult lives, and it just didn't seem right. So he did a little more research. That realtor we just talked to says he's interested in owning laundries, but he doesn't know my name. The internet is too vast. I spend nothing on advertising. I'm not here to do that. I don't do this for the money, kids. I do it because I try to educate folks like you so that you don't get hurt like this poor operator that's losing this store. Scary owning any business, isn't it? If you set yourself up for success from day one, minute one, with good information from the right people, you will not fail. In fact, you'll thrive, and that's what we all want. That's why you want a business. Would you entertain $30 a square foot, Danny? Why are you all about these silly numbers? You just heard me speak to someone in the tri-state area, $20 all in. It's the only thing that makes sense. I have some clients who own 4, 5, 7, 11 stores, and they use me, and we make calls. They're not interested in being on the YouTube machine, but they'll go a little higher because they know what they can do. But for your first store, no. I got shit to do. Excuse me. Those of you texting me know who you are. Let's get on and beat somebody down. Go back and watch this from the beginning. And everybody send a little message to Kyle in the comments section. Ciao.